Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. It is January 18th, Thursday morning. We are doing this episode before cash. We got about 15 minutes till cheese session. I'm Cody. This is Andy. Super excited to be here.
Super excited.
Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Cody. How are you?
Staying warm?
Staying warm. Trying to. How about you?
Trying. We're trying.
We're on the upswing. Next week's going to be like high of 45 here.
45 and rain. It's going to be like a tropical paradise.
It is going to be. You know what? That's glass half full right there. That's tropical paradise. I mean, that's going to be like, I think the low here was like minus 30. So it's going to be like a 75-degree swing. Were you out there shoveling, by the way?
Yeah, we got some. We don't have any snow. Well, we have snow. We haven't gotten pounded with snow in about a day now. So everything's clear. Got a little bit of ice. People are in the ditch here in Michigan. Forgot how to drive. It's okay. It's a learning adventure every single year.
It's an adventure. Life's a garden. Dig in. Okay? That's it.
That's what I like to hear.
Well, let's get rolling here.
All right.
This is the S&P. I think this came at request, or did it not? I can't remember.
I believe so.
Okay. Well, it did. It's mystery who did it, but I don't know. This is starting to get a little toppy here. What do you think?
It is. 20-day moving average is what you got pinned on there, right?
I sure do.
Yep. So, I don't know. We didn't completely break through. I mean, we broke through it yesterday. But we didn't actually settle below there.
Not yet, at least. But, I mean, I guess the thing that sticks out to me, right there, and then right there, right? And bears tend to jump out the window, and bulls tend to climb up the stairs, right? We're setting up for like an M.
Correct.
Something to be mindful of, right? I mean, if you're looking for an opportunity to get short, this seems like as good as one as any. At least you know where you're wrong. So let's just do that. Bam, 48.50. I guess if it goes and trades 48.50, you're wrong, right? But I think there's room for this thing to potentially break down into where it kind of was consolidating. So you just take the midpoint. What is that? 46 and some change.
Yep.
So, and then some of these longer term stuff, you could see like a retracement of this consolidation here. You're not getting that great of a response after like this candle right here, right? So you had an attempt to break down, failed that. You would have liked to have seen a candle that opened higher and then continued to move. You're just not seeing
Correct.
that. So yeah, it's kind of a warning sign, but yeah, this one to me, again, the failure to make a new high, the M that it's forming, it's a warning sign. So something to be a little bit mindful of. I don't know. Maybe you get some stocks a little bit cheaper.
Maybe drop down to 46,000, kind of where, like you said, we consolidated earlier and get some bought. You might be sitting pretty good.
Who knows? We'll see. It's a mystery.
We'll see.
So I had this one up, but let's take a quick peek at cheese, spot cheese before today's session. So who knows what'll happen? This could be totally different in 10 minutes, but I guess it's not quite exactly the opposite, but it's getting there of the chart we just looked at, right? You and I've talked about this a little bit here on the show. And what we've seen here thus far is it seems like we're trying to break out of this downtrend. We're starting to see really good volume. Futures are pricing in a little bit of a premium.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also seeing like the rest of the world, not rip higher, but maintain a nice, healthy premium.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, this is, I think you'll continue to see buyers of cheese take on product, well discounted the rest of the world. So I guess it's a question of, can we at least continue to consolidate? Then you will have like kind of solidified the breakout of this downtrend, and then you have a higher low. So it's a decent shot at us rallying.
Yeah.
You've got some room.
I mean, not saying that we're going to $2 right away, but like you had mentioned, I mean, we've been discounted to the rest of the world for quite a bit of time. And even after this past GDT on Tuesday, we kind of keep hanging down here at this $1.45, $1.47 number when they're at what, $1.90 average call it.
Sure.
Very interesting.
It's got a nice like shot at it, right? I mean, like
Right.
You've the higher low plus the breakout of the downtrend, you can make the argument. It's starting to kind of set up as a means of like, we could see a little bit of a pop.
Right.
And even if we're just retrace, let's say we just retrace a third of this break, you're still talking like $1.60 cheese, which is about where February is now. So Class 2 Feb is basically saying that we're going to retrace a third of this move, which wouldn't be that much.
Right.
Right now, that's what, 148. So add a dime onto the average. You can do that in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. We'll see. But this one's looking a little, and we got IDFA right around the corner too. That's
true. Coming up Sunday night.
Saturday, Sunday. What's that from? Anyways.
That's a good question.
I have no idea. I just know that like you hear it all Sunday. Anyways. So the industry events can typically bring about volatility, I guess. So we'll see.
Yep.
Next up.
Soybeans. I mean, you've had a pretty bearish downturn here in the past couple of weeks. I can't remember the last time that we actually talked about soybeans was, but I think after was last Friday's WASDE report. I mean, beans had a pretty good down day, retraced a lot of that, but then the following days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you just kind of saw yourself trickle a little bit lower into not new lows. I mean, you got to get down to what 1150 for that.
Yeah.
But the way that the chart is really setting up, I mean, that's not too darn far apart. What, 50 cents from here?
It's not that far away. No, it's not. And if you kind of expand on that a little bit, what's interesting is that you had what looks like a head and shoulders kind of played out here really well. Right? So you have this could be like the head portion of it, another shoulder here, and then you broke what is basically the neckline right here. And it never really looked back. Right. It took a shot at getting back over there for a day, but this would be like the breakout right around here, right? Where if you went and traded back above 1350, you're wrong. But this to me looks like a nice little head and shoulders pattern. I think you're right. I mean, we're going to go test this 1150. Let's go take a look at that on a weekly. The weekly, I mean, there really isn't a ton of support until you get down around here. Right. But I mean, this is also on a longer term basis, this price point. So kind of that area where you're just looking at a little bit more premium to that, but not a ton.
Yeah. I think the last time that we had hit on this, I mean, you had a little bit of long-term support at 1280, 1284.
Yeah.
We gapped that day lower and have not gone back up to fill that gap. Now, doesn't mean it absolutely has to be filled, but it begs to differ that 1150 kind of seems like the next testing point.
Yeah. I guess the only thing I'd be a little bit mindful of is that you crossed into oversold territory technically, right? So let's just do this real fast. So if right here, you crossed into oversold, that doesn't mean that's just a warning, right? What you'd want to be most mindful of, I guess, is that if we went back and crossed below and then came back up, basically, right? So that's like the indication that at that point, you'd want to be seriously considering either getting out of shorts or at least hedging that off, buying calls or something like that. But that's a bit of a warning sign that this break is starting to become a little bit exhausted. But that said, it's $1.50 break, a push. That's a lot. $13.50 to $12.
I guess the interesting thing is, I mean, that's the first time we've broken through the RSI to the oversold territory on this weekly chart, right? Going back into 2020.
Yeah, for a long time. So,
even if you look at it on daily, the RSI, the last time we broke into oversold territory was May, just leading up until June. Actually, the very last day of June. And that's when we ripped from that bottom of 1150 up to 1416.
Yeah, we could theoretically trickle lower down to this 1150 and remain under the blue line, which I guess would be my thought. Look for that to happen. And then if it starts to consolidate, you'd see that thing cross back over. And that would probably prompt, buy side to come up. So we'll see. But stay short for now, I guess. Last one, but not least. Certainly not least. Your favorite. I haven't touched a line here, by the way. Not one.
Weekly Nonfat.
Weekly Nonfat. Okay. Let's just look at the chart for now. It's playing out the way we've been talking about.
It has. Oh, boy.
This is a nice little rounding. And the futures continue to maintain a premium. And like I said, we've been talking about this Elliott wave picking up. And this would take us right back to this third retracement of this big move. I think we're getting ready to do it. I mean,
it looks like it. I was just going to say, is my testing area going to be confirmed? Now, this is on a weekly, so it's taking a little bit more time than had been anticipated. But we get through that. What is that? 123, 124?
123. And call it 124, easy math. This is basically, what's the last trade price Nonfat? 119.5. Or basically 4 cents away. You could do that in a day.
Right.
We could do that in 30 minutes here. So this rounding pattern here, the premium in the futures market, I think you just got to be really careful with this, right? I mean, I think we're getting ready to have a nice little Elliott wave move.
From where you hadn't touched it earlier, you have the Elliott wave going up to 136, which is exactly where that retracement is.
I think this is the next step for this chart. We'll see. Like I said, we're not touching this chart. Nothing.
So at this point, just basically looking at this chart, you are a seller or a buyer of Nonfat?
You would want to be a buyer of this chart.
Okay.
Buyer of the chart.
It's good enough for me. It's good enough for you.
That's right. There you go.
Awesome. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for another episode of Tech Talk with Andy and myself. We appreciate you guys tuning in. If there's any charts that we did not look at and that you want to look at next week, please feel free to email us, text us, call us. We will definitely get those on the docket. But until then, have a great weekend. Try to stay warm. Get ready for next week when it's 40 and raining. Sounds like a better time to me. But either way, enjoy the week. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you next time.
See you later.